Hello and welcome to the Valve Bounce. How you going, Steve?
I'm very well, Damo, and yourself?
Good, thank you. Good. Wow,
That's good.
we're back at the 7:30 time slot. Happy as days.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited. How do you think the Saudi Grand Prix turned out for you, mate?
Oh, it was all right. I mean, I wanted to watch it when I got back from Bathurst, but I couldn't stay up that late, unfortunately. It was way too early in the morning for me. The race itself, mm, it was all right.
Oh.
There's a little bit of tasty stuff in there, but I wouldn't say the race was much to write home about. What about yourself?
Yeah, look, I think there was quite a few tasty nuggets in there. I'm sure we'll touch on some of them. The internet exploded, and depending on whose side you're on, it seems like we're looking at two different scenes or two different footages because, damn, I thought it was clear cut, but I know we will touch on that later. I guess we're back to all praise the king, the new king, yeah? The Oscar
New
Piastri
king.
wins
The
again.
real king of Formula One. He's a real king of Formula One. This kid is dynamite. Shouldn't have won that race, but he did.
Mate, he's just getting it done, isn't he? Every time. Just starting to show a little bit of that, I'm going to make it happen, even if it's not quite
Aussie
right.
grit. That little
Oh.
Aussie grit, you know? That little Weber grit, you know, Aussie grits. He's got it in him. I love it. He's going in raw dog, as they say. Well, can we say that on this podcast?
Well, of course we can. We do what we like.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, I guess that it was quite an interesting start to the race. But before we get there, let's
go to quali. Come on.
let's go to
Let's
quali.
jump the gun.
Because we've got a bit more time this week because we're not doing 40 different things. We're just doing a review. There's no preview.
Correct.
There's no supercars.
No.
There's nothing. We've just got F1. So
Just while we're on that, what are you going to do this weekend, mate, with all your spare time?
I tell you what, I've already got a jam-packed weekend. I'm checked
You ready?
out.
Already on it?
Well, for any of the for the nerds out there like me, episode 3 is back in cinemas, so I'm seeing that on Friday.
Very good, very good.
Anyway,
Yes, no, I don't think I'll be doing that. I think I'll be getting the house organised because, Jeff actually just asked.
yes.
Hey, Jeff. Yes, I will be going to the Bend, mate. I'll be
Yes.
driving the Pank. So I will be racing
Ooh.
not this weekend, but the weekend after. So look out for me rolling up on Declan.
You get to trade the camera from last weekend to the wheel, the steering wheel.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
that'll be exciting.
But as I was trying to say, I've got to clean up this house because the in-laws arrive the day after I get back from the Bend.
Well, let's just hope when you're at the Bend this time that everybody does those lug nuts up and you don't happen to drop to 3 wheels, okay?
No comment. It's very Max Verstappen of me, wasn't it?
No
comment.
No
I'm
comment.
not going to comment on that.
What was the NASCAR driver? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about quali and
Yes.
Q1. Any little surprises from Q1 exits that caught your eye there?
Oh, yeah. Lance Stroll, 75th Q1 exit. Congratulations to him. He now has the record. Woo!
Not really a surprise though, but yes, worth celebrating. Even though
Pitch of F1.
even though he said that because it's the car and anyone else in these sort of cars, it's like have you checked your head to head versus all your teammates because I'm tipping they're not as bad as you, mate. Anyway, so
Right, that kid's just he's delusional now, right? That's literally what's happening. Like he's drunk all the Kool-Aid and now he's into the moonshine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, I'm not drinking the moonshine. I think that's definitely Lance Stroll.
Yeah. And I guess we look at it, we had Bortoletto, we had Ocon, who I was a bit surprised was down there. Hulk, Doohan and Stroll that exited in Q1.
Doohan was disappointing.
Yeah, just didn't quite nail it. Bit of a surprise, but also, what do you make of Ocon? I know we've got our driver ratings, which we'll get to a bit later, but I'm a bit surprised he didn't get through, especially when his rookie teammate seems to be getting it done just that little bit better at the moment.
Yeah, the car seems to be a little tricky. Like
Yeah.
there's a little thing happening here. And I mean, I suppose Saudi's probably similar to Australia a little bit in that it's really slow corners or just flat out,
Yeah.
right? And they didn't go well in Australia. So I would say it's obviously got some silly shit happening when they're on those types of tracks.
Yep.
That's making him uncomfortable. And yeah, he didn't deliver. And his teammate, I'm just looking. Look, he wasn't that far up the road. So
No, but the record
he's
shows
still up the road.
that Q2, Behrman made it to Q2. And that was along
did.
with Hadjar, Alonso, Lawson, who had his first quali win over his teammate.
He did.
And then Albon.
Goes for 25.
Yeah.
And then Albon, Albon. Albon was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
I thought he would get through to Q3, but yeah, no, that was interesting. What's your take on Lawson from that one, mate? Do you think he's found his mojo?
We're going to do a bit later. No, I don't. I think he did a better job this round for sure. A few little errors. Did all right, did well in the quali for sure. But then, yeah, just during the race, just a few things that didn't quite go as they should and were probably a little bit avoidable, some of those incidents. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, we'll get it later.
And then Q3, mate. So the qualifying, and I will just say on Q3 at Jeddah,
the real reason we're talking about qualifying.
Come on, let me get the good stuff out first.
Okay, all right, get it out.
Oh, hang on, or is that good stuff too? I don't know. Sometimes with you, I'm not sure.
Good stuff for us.
Is that the Jeddah qualifying is turning into one of those really primo, you should watch type of events. It just the speed, especially when they're getting right towards the pointy end of that Q3, the speed they go through that track, you can actually see a little bit more of that speed where they're really low on fuel. So,
yeah,
excuse me, I just thought it was really good, mate.
Mate, we've got professionals here. What are you doing?
I'm a professional that was running late and just finished dinner, and that's why it's repeating on me. So, Q3...
Q3.
Okay, let's get it out of the way because I know you want to do it. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to start?
Do the Brits want to talk about it? I mean, are they still hurting? Or actually, no, they are hurting. Because I was on TikTok just earlier, and mate, there was a guy on there justifying why Norris is still better than Piastri, and I was like tearing up. It was that funny. I was like, "Oh, you are so butthurt, my friend."
Well, yeah, because if you look at the media, there's been a slight change into the way they're talking about him. They're no longer just blindly talking about, how good he is, and he's stepping up, he's doing this, he's doing that. They sort of balanced it a little bit, and they were talking more about how Oscar was kind of taking dominance over the team, getting the results where he needs to, and he looks really strong. So I reckon. Actually, we'll talk about it when we get to the Miami review, because I think that might go back in Norris's favour, is my prediction. And so I think...
prediction there, Dave.
I know, but I think that then the media's going to jump back on board about him, and there's going to be a big hype train before Oscar comes in with death blows and just takes him out in the next 2 or 3 after that. But anyway...
Yeah, you heard it here first, but I'm tipping Piastri for a hat-trick because he would have won that race last year if it wasn't for the safety car.
Very true, but safety cars happen, mate. They're part of racing. No,
they do, but that's why Norris has actually only got 4 wins against his name. Ooh, sorry.
Ooh, according to Steve, yes, 5-all. But Norris did crash. That's I guess the
Norris went boom.
Oh, gee, he did have. It was, it's very tricky. That corner, not just McLaren's, but a lot of cars in that change of direction were having issues throughout the whole evening. And, yeah, geez, he just... It stepped out, And because he'd missed the apex, he was hunting for that apex, missed that on the left.
All right, Scafey.
Ended up right on the big curb as he was trying to correct it. And when he landed, can't go that way.
Yeah. To the fence.
Yeah.
To the wall. People will know that reference if you're old like me. Yes. No, how do I describe this? When the going gets tough.
Oh, he's making it. Yep.
And you have to get it right on the edge to get that extra lap in. That's where it all goes wrong for him.
Yeah.
That's where it all goes wrong. It's that last little bit that he's searching for that Piastri knows all too well that if he goes there, it's going to be a problem. Norris goes there, finds the fence. Every time. Yeah. And this weekend was his weekend to have because he actually had pace over Piastri for the first time in about 3 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did. And it does seem like whether it's the extra pressure from Oscar and Max that it's causing the problem, or there's something in the way they've developed the car that just makes it right at that very fine edge. Because even Oscar's, he's able to thread the needle of getting the right lap time without bending it. But even he's having some troubles along the way. So there's definitely on that finer edge. It's a tough one. But yeah, he definitely did not thread the needle at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, but yes. So what, Q3, other than the Norris crash, which we seem to have covered quite well.
Yep.
Interesting to note that Yuki Tsunoda made it into the top 10.
Yeah.
Qualified P8.
P8, yes, he did.
What do you think of that? I mean, we'll go into the rankings later, but what do you think of that? Is that that's a good solid effort by young Yuki?
Yeah, I think that's real solid. I think it's real solid. There were some moments where he really, I wasn't sure how he was going to go. A bit up and down throughout some of the practice and then the earlier qualies. But, it seemed to deliver it. And I think from, I'd hate to think like how, when you compare it, but just to Perez or whatever. But Tsunoda just seems to be building. And yes, stuff happened in the race we'll talk about. But he seemed to go, I give him a good pass mark. That was well worth it. He got close enough in terms of time to Verstappen, who, again, just pulled out some magic. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't think you're going to see that from Yuki. Not yet, anyway.
No.
But, yeah, Verstappen, we'll get to his lap in a second. But that was definitely rabbit out of the hat moment. And I think it was aided a little bit by Piastri probably knowing that Norris was out, being a little cautious to begin with.
Yep.
And then throwing it down towards the end of the lap, which almost got him the pole, but just marginally off.
I mean, marginally. That was what was really surprising at such a high-speed track. The margins were so fine between the top couple of drivers. I mean, even across the top 10. It was pretty impressive. I guess it's the end of the generation of car and rule set, and that's probably why. But yeah, it was close. It wasn't much.
Yes, we're in the year of dirty air, and qualifying is king.
That's the new buzzword, drinking word. If you're playing along, is that they are slamming that home. Whether it's the articles, the commentators, dirty air.
Yes, dirty air.
All right.
Who's in the dirty air?
So Gasly got in Q3, which was really great. He got into P9. Only had that one real run because he kind of exhausted a lot of tyres, just like sort of Hamilton did. But still a good effort. Made it in there. And then...
made it?
Yeah, like if we're looking at, what's that? So Norris 10, Gasly 9, Tsunoda 8, Hamilton 7th.
Yep.
Bit of a tough one for him. It's okay.
Got out qualified by Sainz.
Yeah. What a perler from Sainz. I mean, finally the Sainz magic touch is delivering again. Oh, never do that again, please.
No, I will.
Oh yeah, I bet you will. Outstanding lap. What an absolute, just dragged it out. Finally pieced it all together. Just on point. Great quality from Saints.
Really, really happy for him. Really been searching for that. He's had a couple of moments where he threatened to do something like that. So to actually see him deliver was really good. And I know that car's it's not ideal, but at least, he's starting to get some of the reward for effort, and we'll come into the race. But yeah, it was a great qualifying session for him.
Yeah. And then we had
also Antonelli.
Antonelli. Who managed to just pip Sainz. Great effort. Clearly, that car was still struggling with the heat, with the hotter temperatures, but they've obviously improved it because they were able to drag a bit of a lap out there, and for Antonelli just to step up there. And then you've got Leclerc and Russell. So, Antonelli being so close behind his teammate for a rookie, a great effort again.
Yeah, he keeps making little strides, just tiny little fractions here and there.
Yeah.
And we'll come to what may or may not happen to his teammate later on in the year. But
gossip.
Has a little bit of gossip. The closer he gets to Russell, the scarier that proposition becomes, I think.
It is.
And he is just so young. So he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Can't really fault him, can you?
Not yet. No, still going well.
Not yet.
And I even think he's put enough, like he's banked enough kudos now to, even if he starts having a few off races, I think people are going to be like, he's had such a good year anyway, he's a rookie. I think we'll all sort of feel like he's done enough to kind of even have a few mistakes along the way now.
Yeah, there's a level of forgiveness based on the results that he's had. Unlike Doohan, where the level of forgiveness is not there.
Oh, he just started to build up on the positive bank account, and he's just gone back to zero, I reckon.
That was a bad weekend for him. But anyway, it was Max that got the pole over Piastri to finish that off. And Max just does Max things where he pushes the absolute boundaries and comes out the other end shining. He doesn't find fences anymore, which is, well done to him.
Yeah, he did a great job. And there's footage out there on the F1 website which has got the overlay where they did like a virtual car ghost from Piastri, and just seeing like the ebbs and flows. Like you look at the end result being that .001, .01, whatever it was. But like when you see it, like at certain points, like Oster's ahead, and then like Verstappen gets you better go out of this corner or through the corners. They're really achieving speed in different ways. It was just another A+ lap in terms of his quality for sure.
Mate, you've been listening to Scaife too long. They achieve their speed differently.
Oh, maybe it's Robbie. I don't listen to him a lot. I don't really even listen to him when I'm watching the V8. So call me Scaife again, and you've
unless you grow a large nose, mate, you'll be fine.
Put you up for adoption or something.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, bit too late, I think.
Maybe.
And I guess as a bit of a summary, it was really that crash from kind of Norris, like from the whole field. It just really changed that Q3 because Piastri had just done his fast lap and thankfully still had that counted, and then had to go again, but just that break kind of changed it. And I think maybe small impact to the way it kind of turned out, just because everyone had to reset and then go out for their hot lap.
Yeah, I think that, especially for Piastri, which people need to remember too, suddenly your teammate's in the fence. So your brain does do that little switch of, okay, there's only one car left here. So you won't go to that 11 tenths, trying to get the lap time out of it, because you know that if you bin it, then there's two cars to be repaired. So I think there's just that element there that probably brought him back to being second. But
I think you're partway right. I think it's more about he's in the fence. This is my chance to grab the lead in the World Championship. I think he saw this as an opportunity and probably pegged it back a bit. But you're right.
But that's a good transition onto race day, mate, because race day
Oh,
was very interesting.
was-
That start was very interesting.
It was
What was your take on that start, Damo?
on the
What did
start.
you think?
I thought Piastri had an excellent start. I thought
Yeah, a very good one.
I thought Piastri got to the corner first, and therefore Piastri had that corner. That's
I agree.
yeah.
I've got a question for you.
Yep.
When's the last time we saw second out drag first to the first corner?
Well, I don't know about that stat. I do know this is the first time this year that pole position hasn't won.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Interesting.
at least for this year, even if second did get it, pole position ended up winning the race. But this is the first time. So just another tick in the box for some random stat for Oscar to take home. But yeah, I think we'll get to a bit more detail because I have got a lot to say about that clash in
Ooh.
that corner and how I think there needs to be a new max rule. I think needs to be implemented because he does the same thing a lot.
A max? Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Damo. No.
But-
you can't do that. You can't have one rule for one and then
No,
other
no.
rules for others.
No, it's just more, if I touch on it quickly, he does it a lot, and it's just that release of brake, and it's like, that then puts his axle ahead, but he's never going to make the corner. He's done this quite a few times, and it is it is a smart racing brain, and he just knows how to make things work in his favour, and what he did, taking the lead, still being shitty about the penalty, when in reality, the clean air, everything gave him a massive advantage. But yeah, there I go. I'm off on my rant already.
It's all right, mate. That's what we're here for. People want to see you rant.
Yeah, well, I was going to do it a bit later on. Let's touch on good news for Norris.
There was?
Yeah, well, he did manage to get back to
Oh,
fourth.
the Sonoda-Gasly clash. Yeah, that gave him two positions.
Yeah, definitely did. But yeah, did recover to fourth, and yeah, probably got tied up just a little bit too much in some of the other shit down the order that may have cost him a podium. But look, he a bit like last round, in my opinion. I think his racecraft was good in peaks and troughs. He had some shocking moments. Absolutely against Hamilton, was outclassed, and I don't know why he didn't learn his lesson, but continued to take him at the wrong point so that the DRS would be reactivated and Hamilton goes back past him. So that was like a brain fade. But
That call from his engineer.
yeah,
Play the game, Lando. Play the game.
So it's like, stab the brakes,
Mate.
right? Stop overtaking him. That was
Yeah.
pretty bad. But then, other parts of that race, he just caned it, just did really well, lined people up, made it happen. Yeah.
Did he though?
Well,
I don't know.
we'll see our rankings.
I don't think he did.
okay?
I don't.
We'll see our
I
rankings.
yeah. well, My opinion on Lando and his ability to overtake is that it's near zero. If he didn't have DRS, he couldn't do shit with anything.
Big call. Okay.
My opinion, but it's a strong one.
Well, if he keeps
My
qualifying down the order, he's never going to end up where he needs to be, because if he can't overtake. So,
No, he definitely can't.
yeah. Now, I know just what we'll finish up a little bit on Norris, and his tyre was on the pit exit line, apparently. So,
Ah, yeah. Well, not just that. Did you see his entry?
yeah. How he actually got it slowed up in time, I'm not really sure how that was. Maybe the dude with the gun was like too slow or something. I don't know, because I thought that was the incident. That was what was going to be a problem. And then we saw it was the exit crossing the line, which
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
he didn't quite cross it. He had his tire on it.
Yeah.
But when they're like that particular track, they're pretty harsh on it. So yeah, I think he was lucky not to get a penalty at all, really.
yeah.
Because I think by the sounds of it in the review, here's my professional.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus.
in the like early drivers briefing, it sounded like they were really hot on it, saying, stay well away from it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He could have had a penalty, in my opinion. I don't know if he deserved it or not, but he got away with one. He's flirting.
You're
He is
slowly.
flirting.
Well, he's flirting with you, I think, because you're just looking for an excuse to cause him some grief. I think.
No,
All right.
not at all.
Well,
I like Lando. He's a nice guy.
He's a lovely guy.
He is.
Sporting a very nice mullet too, like a footballer's mullet on the weekend, I noticed.
Yeah.
Hey, so Norris actually got up there because there was a bit of a clash that took out two opponents that maybe, according to Steve, he can't pass well enough. What was your take on the Tsunoda Gasly incident?
So I've had a look at it a few times, and I've also listened to a few people, and a lot have gone back on what they initially thought. A lot thought that Yuki understeered into Gasly, and now they've all gone back and saying, "Oh, it's more of a racing incident."
Yeah.
La-di-da. I'm still on it's probably a 65-35 split. And I would say 65% is Yuki's fault.
Yeah.
And that's not, I'm not trying to lay blame. It is primarily a racing incident. But I think Yuki probably could have let that, Gasly was past, really.
Yeah.
He had the job done. So probably just onus is on Yuki to step out of the throttle for a split second and then rejoin him behind him and keep Norris at bay, and then we wouldn't have had to worry about Norris for the rest of the race.
Right. Yeah, I kind of agree. There was a little bit of sloppiness from both drivers, but I'd definitely say more on Tsunoda. But I'm definitely down with it was just a bit of a racing incident. They were kind of going in hard against each other. If one of them kind of just had a little bit less, it would have been, everyone would have had play on. So, yeah, I just think it was a pretty good example of where, the stewards kind of said, like, okay, we'll play on. Let's just treat it as a racing incident, because that's how I reckon it was.
Yeah, and as I said, primarily. But if I was to portion more of the blame, I would say it's Yuki.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, look, these things, they're never good. It wasn't good for Gasly. It wasn't good for Yuki. So ultimately, it is what it is.
It is. And almost incident that happened. My goodness, nothing like being on a manager's Portello. I didn't say that. That was you. His manager, Bortoletto, always taking out Alonso. Apparently, they were sharing a flight home, so I'm not sure how that would have gone.
Sure, it was fine. I mean, Alonso had no right to place his car. No, I'm joking. No, definitely Bortoletto shouldn't have been swinging across the track as viciously or ferociously as he did.
Yeah.
But, he did, but he luckily saw Fernando just in the nick of time and reacted. So,
yeah.
Look, it could have happened, but it didn't happen, so it's all okay, right?
It's all fine. And just showing that Alonso, that despite his age, still has great reflexes, just enough to thread that very fine needle between the man.
He touched the wall,
this
though,
side.
didn't he?
Yeah, he just kissed the wall, but I think it was the safest and the easiest way to keep going, because it could have been a whole lot worse if they'd just gone into the rear tyre there. Just don't know what he was thinking.
I like how he redressed as well after taking the long way around. That was very gentlemanly.
He's just like, I think it was probably still a little bit of shock. He was just like, shit, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, okay, go.
Oh, yeah. Right, go.
But it does amaze me, these drivers and their reactions and what they can actually spot, that in all of that dedication to getting ahead and leading the race, still Piastri can spot some random red light on a balcony somewhere and go to his engineer, mate, someone's got a red light, looks like a red flag, and telling him to get it switched off. Like, just amazing what they can still capture in their eyesight and in their brains going so fast.
Totally agree, but I mean, it's just not on that Jos Verstappen would stand on a balcony with a big red light trying to put off Piastri. I mean, come on, mate. You're better than that.
Well, I wouldn't put it
Is that not
past
right?
him.
Is that not factually correct?
We'll leave that as a little citation that we need to just validate. Yeah, but probably or probably not. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
But,
So
yeah, no, it is amazing. Like, I mean, we've spoken many times before about like Fernando's ability to see different things as he's racing around the track. And this is another example of that. But this time, Oscar driving around, going, "Why is there a red flashing light?
it's just like,
Can you stop that? Why is Lance Stroll in my way?
Oh,
Get out of the way!"
they are having a little bit of a bromance, aren't they? Because
Oh,
constantly Stroll is getting in the way, which seems like it's just a little bit intentional.
this started back in Monza.
Yeah.
I think. Was
Yep.
it last year or the year before? And hey, Stroll, go play tennis, mate.
Okay, just
Told you.
just give it up.
Go play tennis. You'll be fine.
Yeah, the Monza. I think that was the comment about, I don't know if he thinks we're still racing go karts or something.
Yeah, that was the comment.
And
Yeah,
so that kind of kicked it off, I think.
definitely.
But that's okay. Oscar's winning, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, that's the thing, right? So now we've got Oscar winning, even when theoretically probably shouldn't have this weekend because it didn't quite have the pace. But that's what champions do, isn't it, Damo? They win or finish high when they're not supposed to.
Yeah, agreed. Would-be champions would even do that. But he just has managed, like last weekend was a really, I know you kind of in jest we're talking about Aussie grip, but he really did just show, Lando was beating him in a couple of sessions. He didn't get the pole. The clean air that Max had, that he still managed the tyres, had a shit pit stop, to be honest. And still had enough racecraft and skill and speed to make that win happen, and eventually then be top of the drivers' championship. So yeah, it was a top effort.
But I know I half jokingly say that Lando can't overtake, but you want to see an actual overtake.
Around
that
the
overtake
outside.
around Hamilton, around the outside, mate. Like the balls.
Yeah.
DRS open around the outside on loose shit and just blew past him like it was nothing. Car didn't even look like it was going to go off at any second or anything like that. He just straight past. Lewis left him like just enough room, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take that. See ya."
It was fair dinkum amazing, and I guess it really is, like, if you boil it down, that is literally an example of the hero or zero, because if he does that, crashes, like goes on the marbles, ends up crashing, the narrative, the conversations, the articles, social media are all about how he can't handle it. He did the reckless move, but having some innate ability to just make that, stick it, land it, and make that happen, it's just like, and that's the second time he's surprised Hamilton with a little round the outside that was that shouldn't be possible in some regards. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the greasy conditions in Melbourne, and he goes around the outside on the fastest corner on the track.
Because he wanted that point. He needed...
Yeah, he needed it. He wanted it. It was his. It's just it's a remarkable thing. And that is, for me, that's the defining difference between Piastri and Lando, is that ability to... And also just the knowledge that I've got to get this done, and I've got to get this done now.
Yeah.
Good on him. Might bite him at one point. I hope it doesn't. Touch wood. I'm knocking on wood. But that's what you got to do. and I think it just shows just his mentality. It's like when they talked to him about the start of the race, and he's just like, once I drew alongside Max off the start, I was never coming out of turn one in second.
Yeah.
That was not an option.
Yep.
It's just a killer instinct. Just a killer instinct.
And I think it's a good example of, Lando was talking about, I want to be a nice guy that wins. And there's nothing mean about Oscar. He's a legitimate, nice kid, funny as hell, and yet is able to kind of draw that difference of, I'm attacking and doing it in an assertive way that, is confident without being a loose cannon. And that's the difference why I think, he will always end up a champion over Lando, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got and I mean, we're all sitting here, and it's not just us. There's so many pods going, Oscar's, he's got this sewn up. If this continues in this trend, he's got this sewn up. But
it's a long
ultimately, it's a long way to go.
Yep.
And a lot can play out, from reliability to all sorts of things that can go wrong. We've seen it happen time and time again. So there's by no means is Lando out of it, and he's going to have his day. You think it's Miami. Personally, I don't think it will be, but he will have his day. And when he does, you'll be right. They will jump back on the bandwagon.
Yep.
And he'll get lauded because he'll do what he does typically, like he did last year, where he takes off down the road.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not, I mean, it's just a difference of style between Piastri and him. Piastri gets it far enough away, but then looks after the car.
Yeah.
So, it's just a difference of, Lando needs to be out of the zone of ever being attacked, whereas Piastri is quite comfortable to have you at arm's length.
Yeah. And I think, just to wrap up a little bit, but I just feel like the win at Miami will give back a little bit of that confidence that Lando's missing. That's why I think he'll be more of a threat there than he was. I mean, he was sort of on the verge of threatening, but didn't make it happen because he crashed. So, it's we'll see what happens. That's obviously a couple of weeks away, so we do have a little bit of a gap for me to change my mind. You see.
No, we can all change our mind.
True.
I do it all the time.
Well, if you get new information, you should always adjust your opinion. You should never be that hard set. All right. Well, that sounds like a dinner table discussion, that one. So one thing we didn't touch on was we started earlier about talking about Lawson and giving your thoughts on his weekend, and then perhaps some of those incidents and that penalty.
Lawson had a much better weekend, out-qualified Hadjar, which is the first time we did that, which we spoke about really quickly. So I was really happy for him. I actually think the 10-second penalty that he got, I don't think was fair. I think the move was done. And okay, he ran off the track, blah, 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 but I don't think he gained an advantage by doing so. And 10 seconds just seemed... I mean,
excessive.
Go back to the Max incident, and it's like, that's 5 seconds. Well, then Lawson shouldn't be any more than 5 seconds, personally, because it wasn't anywhere near the same, in my opinion. So, but, the stewards make their call, and something I've actually said recently is that you have to live with what they do, like they say, and we need to get back to the times where we didn't always just question the umpires, I guess.
Yeah.
Where we have to accept that and respect that they have made a decision. That's the decision. So that put him behind his teammate, unfortunately. But look, a much better weekend. I want to see more of it in Miami.
Yeah.
And it continue. But I still think that car's probably should be just in the top 10. And I don't think either of the boys maximised it over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was just not the right track for them or something. They've been so good and probably overperforming in that car to normal expectations that I think maybe it just wasn't right. But yeah, I'm with you that Apparently, because it was a lap one incident, that's why Max was only hit with 5 seconds and not 10. The normal penalty for those is 10. I think it was way too harsh, in my opinion. There was something that we didn't see or couldn't identify. Because yeah, I'm with you. Didn't feel like it was necessary to have such a big penalty.
No, but that's all right. I mean, look, he'll take it. He'll move on, and hopefully, as I said, in Miami, he'll come out and have a good race.
Indeed. Righto, mate. Well, that's kind of the wrap up or the review kind of done. The debrief
done
is what we call it.
The debrief.
We've still got a bit of a debrief, but we're going to move on to driver rankings and kind of figure out, see where we just copied each other or where we've got a difference of opinion, I think. And we'll start nice and early. Piastri, what did you give him?
I gave Piastri. Now, I actually had a thought about this.
Oh, look out, people. Right. He's had a thought.
Asshole. I started out with an A. And then I actually rethought it because this is the first weekend that Piastri's dug himself out of a hole. And because of that very reason, I feel like I should give him an A+. Didn't start the fastest, but he changed it up, got it right, and executed. Maybe not quite in qualifying, but got it done by the race. So, to me, it's an A+.
Interesting.
What do you got, Damon?
Well, I do agree that he did definitely drag a result out, but I sort of feel like if you don't get that kind of home run of getting pole and getting the win, for me, it would have to be like coming back from P4 or P5 to first for me to give an A+. So I've allowed myself room for those kind of scenarios. So I've just given him an A. I think it was an awesome, amazing drive. Not quite perfect enough for me for an A+.
Fair enough. Look, as I said, initially I sat down with an A, but I just thought the fact that, he got himself out of it and took the win. That's a solid effort. And Verstappen obviously finished second in this one. For me,
yes,
I gave him an A.
Oh, ditto.
Solid weekend. Thought he did a pretty good job. He got pole position. Messed up the start.
Yeah, same for me. I think, still outperforming probably where the car should be. And, a little indiscretion in that first corner, but pretty top effort.
I agree. So, what did you give Charles, mate?
Charles?
What did you think of the Ferrari picking up its first podium?
Official podium? Obviously, the sprint race was won by Hamilton, but the proper podium.
Grand Prix podium.
I have actually given Charles Leclerc, an A+. And that is because I don't really feel like that Ferrari had any right being on that podium. And yet he just flawlessly did what he had to do at the right times, in the right moments to make it happen. So it was just a stellar drive from him. Yeah.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. A+ for Leclerc. From me as well. He drove impeccably, qualified well, did everything he needed to do, and held off Lando at the end. Well done, Charles.
Well done. Well, good call, because now we're on to Lando. I sort of feel like
a fourth place finisher, Lando Norris.
I'm intrigued as to how tough you went. I gave Norris a C.
F. No, I didn't give him an F.
I gave him.
You gave him a C.
A C, and I feel like, he did come back to fourth. That was good effort. He was kind of fast throughout the weekend. Obviously, made a mistake. Had some appalling driver ability and not overtaking Hamilton. So I sort of feel like if he had not screwed up the Hamilton thing, I probably would have given him a B, to be honest.
Yeah, I was in a similar position. I also put Norris as a C.
Mm-hmm.
Not for what you're thinking. But no, I think, he obviously had the crash, so you have to sort of demote him a bit for that.
Yep.
He got back to fourth. Was it aided? I think it was. So yeah, he's somewhere between that B and D sort of marker.
Oof.
But yeah, I think it's a C.
You scaled him up. How nice of you.
I've scaled him up. I know.
Balanced out by all the vitriol that you've been talking about him so far.
Come on. Is it not accurate?
No, 100% accurate. We're no problems.
All I aim to do.
That's it. And so let's think about the next in line was Russell. What say you?
Russell? Look, again, it's another one that I struggled with a little bit because he qualified better than he raced. And I've given him a B because that car didn't work most of the weekend. Kind of like Leclerc, but I don't think he outperformed. I think he just got it home. Really. So I gave him a B. I think it was another solid drive by Russell, but I don't think it was a standout drive by him.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I totally agree, and I just copied because I couldn't decide whether it should be a B. Do I think he's underperformed? No, I can't really give him a C. Definitely not an A. I just kind of went, I'm just giving him a B because, it was exactly that. He did a great job, nothing over the top, but it was, it was still a pretty good performance to get what he did out of the car. So, yeah, B for me.
Nice. And then moving on to Antonelli, his teammate who finished right behind him. I've also given him a B.
Right.
I couldn't give him a higher mark than Russell. I didn't think that would be fair. I do applaud him for being this close, this early. And I think he had a very good weekend, a very under the radar weekend.
Yes.
Because nobody really spoke about him, even though he had a really good quali, and nobody spoke about him, even though he followed his teammate or shadowed his teammate home. So, a B for Antonelli. I probably would have liked to give him maybe a B plus or an A minus, but I couldn't do it because I only gave Russell a B.
Yeah. Well, I debated with this one. Initially, I did have a B as well, and then I just thought, you know what? He's a rookie, and I was just actually going to have a quick look. He wasn't that far behind. He was, what's that?
No.
7 seconds behind. And so I sort of feel like I bumped it up to a B plus just based on he's a rookie and, to be basically matching or thereabouts with his teammate. I thought I'll give him a slightly higher mark because
nice.
George is annoying. Okay.
Wow. Poor George. He can't help that he wants to get his rig out every 5 seconds.
Oh, I know. Yeah, well, certainly, I'm going to move on from that, actually, before I say anything. Mr. Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is really hard. I've given him a C. I was borderline giving him a D.
Yeah.
He needs to find some mojo.
Yep.
And soon, because if Leclerc can get that car to a podium, I would hope that he could at least get to a 5th or a 4th.
Yep.
And usually Lewis's strong point is the race.
Mm.
And it wasn't his strong point this weekend.
No, I think I floated with a D as well, and then ended up being nice, and he's still getting used to the car, and I gave him a C as well. But, if he has another performance like that, it's definitely going to be a D from me. To be a bit of a gap to his teammate, just really still not comfortable, trying to find the limit and the balance, and normally his saving grace is the race, as you say, we've talked about in the past, and not to kind of capitalise on that. I just feel, I just give him a mark. He got points. He's in the top 10. That's still a reasonable result. But yeah, Oh, it's borderline whether I mean, I'm certainly going to stop picking him in my picks because I think I'm jinxing him. So,
It's Damo's fault. You heard it here first. Damo's fault. That's why Hamilton's going back.
blame me. Yeah.
Very good. I understand, mate. I understand.
Yep.
Well, that will bring us on to probably our favourite son, I guess.
Go on, do
Mr.
it.
Smooth Operator.
Oh, he didn't.
Carlos Sainz.
You didn't sing it. I thought you were going to.
No. You told me not to. I can.
Wow.
Smooth Operator.
Oh, you see? First time you've ever listened to me, and then you just break it anyway 2 seconds later. Well, yes, I gave Saints. I was up and down on this one, but you know what? I stuck with an A+. I feel he could not do really anything better. Quali was great. Racing was great. Like, he just made it happen. And I think in a Williams, it's definitely going to be an A+ for me.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I too didn't go an A+. Oh. I went an A. I'm reserving the A+ for that top 5 finish that he's going to get in Miami.
Is that right? In Miami?
In Miami.
Wow.
No. I decided that an A because I think there's a top 5 in that car coming. And I want to keep that ceiling so I can go to the plus when he does it.
Fair enough. All right. So we're now looking at Albon, his teammate. Which is
teammate.
It was a tough one for me. I wasn't quite sure, but what did you rank him?
Based on quali and race, I gave him a B.
Right.
So I think he did all right. But, you know, I'm so used to watching Albon do Albon things, so I'm going to call it Albon
Albon things
on the car. And I don't think he quite did that this weekend. I don't think he ever found the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then he got toppled by his teammate while doing it. So, therefore, it's a B from me.
Same for me. I think, overall, good effort. Was beaten by his teammate. And I guess is that the first time that he's... Yes. So, you know, but still, I think having them finishing basically, you know, one position apart shows the potential of the car. Managed to get some points. I think top effort without being, you know, outstanding.
Yes. Leading headline.
Oh yes.
Hadjar.
Well,
gets the last of the 10, right? So,
yep.
Young Hadjar, I think he had a good race, but I think strategy saved his life.
Yeah. I wouldn't say. I mean, it got him the point, because it definitely it did help. It worked in his favour. But yes, go. You finish.
I'm going to give him a C.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he's been in the top 10 in quali regularly, and he missed.
Yep.
And just for that reason alone, and then I mean, he scraped into the points, but only just. It's a C from me.
I gave him a C as well. I guess my reasoning was more on, I don't think the car was right for this circuit. And so I think he's managed to get some points. Outstanding job. But I just couldn't, just based on his previous performances, I sort of feel like it was a bit of a struggle for him this weekend. And I think a C is a good pass mark for just scraping through with some points.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Your favourite driver? Fernando
Mine.
Alonso.
The old mate.
You love Alonso.
Well, it's just because he's like similar in age. To you, not to me.
He's in between, mate. He is in between. I think he's about...
He's closer to you.
44 now.
Yeah, I think he's closer to you. But yeah, no, I think I've given him a C, and he's like just driving a dog of a car. It is terrible. Like they can't get anything working at all on that car. And
Yep.
yeah, it just basically it is what it is. You know, he managed to kind of get a result, just missed out on points. You know, you can't really give him much else. I think he's just done a pass, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, 43 years old. He is.
There you go.
So just had to clarify that.
Close.
See, look,
Yeah.
he's driving a dog of a car, as you said. He's still hasn't scored points, which must be irritating. The fact that Stroll managed to nick points at the start, but he is starting to clean up Stroll again. So, yep, C from me. 11th is pretty good.
Yep.
I just want to see him get some points on the board and start his season off again, and hopefully Adrian Newey can turn this 2026 car into something good.
Geez, you hope it's a jet, don't you?
Yeah, if it's not, uh-oh.
Yeah. All right. In position 12 was Lawson.
Jesus, mate, you got an arse. Yep. Lawson.
I have. Yeah. You want me to go first or second?
Yeah. No, you go. That's fine.
All right.
No.
I have given him a D. Because I think I wanted to give him a C, just like Hadjar, but I just feel like he beat him in quali and then just couldn't quite deliver. Now, I will say he couldn't deliver in the race. There was some strategy issues again that kind of didn't work in his favour. But I just felt like, Jesus, he just come on, man. I just want you to go better. So maybe I'll give him a D plus because I feel like D's very harsh, but I just couldn't feel a C, again behind his teammate. So I really wanted him to have a good one. So when he has a good one, I'll be extra nice, I promise.
Nah, I've given Lawson a C. The reason is because he finally eclipsed Hadjar in qualifying. If not for strategy, he probably would have been up the road on him. And if not for that penalty, he would have been right there with him. So
I know.
I've gone to C because, I truly believe that even though I respect the umpire's decision, I don't believe that decision was correct. And
Fair
that's
enough.
why he's dropped. But, C from me. Great to see some improvement. Let's move on to Miami. Hopefully he does a better job there.
Yeah, I was trying to think, when does he get to the tracks where he's driven this car before? I know they've obviously made some changes and advancements, but maybe we'll check that out another time. But yeah, that would be like a good way of kind of figuring out like what is the advancement he's having, and we'll see how that goes.
It's all the back end. There's always the back end of the year. So
yeah,
it was always like Singapore.
That's right. Yeah, because it was Singapore,
the Dutch Grand Prix.
Oh no, hang on. It wasn't Singapore. Singapore was Daniel's last. So Austin was his first. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's all at the back end of the year for him, which is why it's so tough what he's gone through at the start of this one. But it's okay. It's okay. He'll dust himself off. If he's good enough, he'll find a way.
Yeah.
So, at the moment, we probably just need to treat him like Hadjar, where it is his first year.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we go.
Okay. In position 13, the rookie Haas achieves 13 in Ollie Behrman. I've given him I just quickly made an adjustment because I just felt like C+. He's beaten his teammate. Obviously, the Haas was not working there. They were both pretty much down the back. So I'm going to give him a C+ and say good effort, tough weekend all around.
Yeah, I've given him a C only because he's about middle of the pack of where he has finished.
Yep.
Compared to. So, another fairly strong outing for him. That Haas car is definitely tricky in certain circumstances, and that seemed to be this weekend as well.
Yep.
But no, still solid. Like he's He's still driving pretty well. To me, and this is a large call.
Oh, yeah.
He's the Brit to actually get excited about.
Gotcha. I agree. I agree.
So like to me, and that's I know it's just an opinion. We all have an ass,
Yeah.
Everyone has an asshole. Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, he's the one to actually get excited about from the Brits.
Yeah.
I think if he gets himself into the good car at the right time, he could do some damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, C from me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of speed it up to get through the rest of these.
Okay.
In position 14 was his teammate Ocon.
Yep.
And for
D.
me, experienced driver, you got to be beating your rookie teammate. It's a D from me
100%.
as well. Just
Yep.
uneventful, nothing really, but just
Incredible Hulk.
Hulkenberg. I've given him a C because damn, that car looked like another dog at that track, didn't it?
He beat Stroll. Fuck off, Stroll, seriously. I'm done with you in F1. So yeah, C from me for Hulk. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
You're driving a bucket of shit and
Yeah.
you're still wrangling it.
Yeah.
Stroll, E.
Yeah.
E. It should be an F, to be fair.
Oh.
You are nowhere, mate.
I did fleet with
be
perhaps
done.
being a D because it's a dog car, but then I realised that's Stroll and you're in 60th.
Alonso's 11th, mate. Come
And
on.
that's why I gave it an E, okay? Chill out, far out. Don't come for me, all right, mate? Jeepers. God, enemy number one, Stroll. Got it.
Yeah, that's 100%. I think I like Norris. I don't like Stroll.
Who would have known? Okay.
No.
17th. Doing. Jeez, that was a hard one for me to grade. I gave
Very
him.
hard.
I gave him a D. It was a pretty
Generous.
crap weekend. I gave him a D because he's a rookie and he still beat his teammate. I know, technicality, but he still beat his teammate.
Massive technicality, and he was getting absolutely pulverized until that point. I've given him an E, and I was borderline giving him an F.
Yeah.
This was the one weekend that I felt like it wasn't good enough. Whereas, because he knows this track, or he knew this track, so I was expecting much better things from him based on the pace that we'd seen earlier on in qualies and practices and things like that, and it just never came at all this weekend. So yeah, E from me.
All right.
Your favourite, Portello. You've got a lot of favourites, mate.
Bortoletto is.
I've gone for a D.
And I have two, a D, I think.
Because he got towed up.
Effectively last, so just got towed. Just wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a great weekend for that Sauber. The steak Sauber, whatever it is.
Yep. The incoming Audi team.
Yep.
And then we have the last two, and I'll just
F.
cap it off, mate. D's, because they didn't finish. They were having a good run until the point that they did not finish. So Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, D.
Bang. D's all around. Okay.
All right. We should really hurry those ones up. We took far too long going through all that shit.
We do sometimes. Well, we thought we had lots of time, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, we're running out of time. Okay, let's have a quick check on our predictions and how we went, because, actual results of
scores.
Yeah, we do. Verstappen obviously got the pole. Piastri won.
Yes.
Verstappen second. Leclerc third. Now, we both screwed up the poll because we said Piastri.
Yeah, Piastri stuffed it for us. Damn it, Oscar.
But we picked him for the win, and so well done. Yes, we're both easy. And then
What a win.
And then I'll just give up. To be honest, I'll just give up because I had Russell and then Hamilton for second and third. Not even close. I'm not tipping Hamilton anymore. Got overexcited about the sprint win, maybe, and just felt like it was going to come at some point. So I'm not jinxing him anymore. No more predictions.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue you went the very safe option in Russell for the second there, and that didn't even come in for you. But, for me, I mean, Norris didn't come in because he stacked it. So, that's his own problem. But Leclerc, hello. I see you, you good thing.
Well done.
Third place.
Well done.
1+. Well,
Yeah.
+1, I should say.
Plus
Fuck,
one.
how's my English? Maybe I need a bit more Brit in me. So I can English.
English better. Yeah, so great result, mate. Well done picking Leclerc.
you.
Not sure
2
how
for me.
you did that, but I've just, as I say, we'll give
Hey,
up.
Mabini Games, thank you for turning up.
Oh yes, hello.
Sorry,
Thanks for the sub as well. Thank you. We saw
Yes,
that.
legend.
So, right, we're going to move to what we call the formation lap, and we're going to try and keep these rapid fire, Steve. Although I might go a bit long on the last one because we're going to talk a bit more about the Max incident. All right.
Oh shit.
Damn,
I just read that. You guys want to listen to that? That'll be interesting. Very, very good. Who wants to go first on this demo? Because it is rapid fire.
I know, and you're saying me go first because you don't want to say his name, but I'll do it. Ready? Because I don't care if I stuff it up because I hate the prick.
Okay.
Mohammed Ben Sulayem. So yeah, you have put in this. See how I did that?
I have.
But I agree.
Yeah, thanks.
Is toxic and shouldn't be allowed to speak to drivers before or after the race.
110 fucking %. Seriously, mate, get the fuck out of their faces, get away from them, stop pissing them off, stop talking to them. They don't like you. Fuck off. Just like Stroll.
There we go. He said it. He's got this innate ability to just always wanting to be right in the moment when like the drivers get out of the car, they're trying to celebrate with their team, and he gets himself inserted into some space where he's trying to shake hands. And all the drivers now are just like, yep, touching his hand, moving on. They're not even, some of them are ignoring him. Just get out, right? You're there as the president of the FIA. Just do your
Do your job.
Do your job. I was going to talk about just
your job.
Do all that fancy French stuff that he's meant to do as the president of the FIA. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, that's it. But problem is, like, when Max got out of that car, he wasn't actually that upset initially. This twat walks up to him and starts wording him, probably telling him not to have a go at the penalty or whatever.
Yep.
And suddenly Max has got his back up. He's not talking. He's like, just stop it.
And
let it go, mate.
Just quickly, as a quite little side note, is the radio that the FIA put over, they bleeped out something that Max said. And everybody assumed that he was like, it was about the penalty, and everyone assumed it was fucking lovely, but it was bloody lovely. They bleeped that out on the text, so everybody thought it was something bigger than it was. Mate, tell me, like, why even bother when you're going to bleep out bloody lovely, you know? Anyway.
I know.
Rapid fire, mate, rapid fire. Go.
Rapid fire, get back onto it. All right, Damo.
Yep.
So, Verstappen would have won in Saudi if not for the penalty.
Wrong.
Ooh, spicy.
Wrong. Only because if you actually work out, and not many people are talking about this, but Tomo on his channel did a quick breakdown and worked out that clean air that he got for staying out in front was worth almost like 13 odd seconds. So if he didn't get the penalty, I guess the real answer is if he didn't get a penalty, he was allowed to just walk away at the front of the field. Of course, he would have won. But the fact is that if he actually redressed where he should have gone and gone into second, he would not have won at all. So, yeah, I guess I got aggressive about the comment before really thinking about it. So, no penalty, he probably would have won. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
I'm half on it. I think Oscar would have come back at him at that last stint and probably would have pushed a lot harder. Whether he would have gotten to him or not, I mean, we'll never actually know. But yeah, I think, hard to say, but yeah, I'd say Oscar would get the win, maybe.
All
right.
Piastri has taken up residence inside Verstappen's head.
100%.
Yeah,
mate. So not only has he just like completely bought out the entire residence at Norrisville, right? This kid has now just popped a little flag in Verstappen's head, We go back to Abu Dhabi last year when Max went, I'm going to scare you out. And then Piastri goes, well, no, I'm just going to turn down on you.
Yeah.
And then again, he gets the start, runs him. He doesn't run him off the road. He gets the jump. He gets into the corner, and then Max releases the brake and runs himself out of room.
Yep.
Right? Max knows now that Oscar is much tougher than Norris.
Yeah.
So he has to treat him differently. And just for that reason, flag in a little bit of Verstappenville.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think he now knows he can't really bully him like he does with some of the others. Pardon me. And so, yeah, which is good. That's what we need because, you know, he's always going to bully Lando. But, yeah, Oscar's like, mate, I couldn't care less. I'm taking it. The corner's mine, mate. I'm having it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, Damo, has McLaren lost its advantage already, or is it just dependent on the track condition?
No, I think they've still got the advantage. I do think that the media have been talking it up like it's something massive, where I don't think it's that big. And the track is dependent. I think less impact to McLaren, but where the gaps reduce is where the other guys are driving, their cars are much better at different tracks, and so the gap kind of fluctuates. And that's why I think they've still got the advantage. It's the other guys that are coming up and down. Yeah.
Yep. I'm just going to quickly address Mabini. Oscar should have got pole in Saudi. Yeah. Definitely. 100% agree. But we sort of covered that a little bit earlier, so go back and have a look. And also, if Max had given a spot back, I agree. He probably could have raced a little bit better for it. But anyway, it is what it is, and we move on, don't we? So, but Oscar got the win.
Yes, he did.
Anyway, right, where are we?
Do you think Doohan's a better driver when he's got, he's under pressure?
Yep, 100%. Pressure came off and he went nowhere. Put the guy under pressure.
It does.
Threaten his seat.
It does feel that way.
Threaten his dog. I don't care. Just get some pressure on him.
Right, we don't want any John Wick. Don't threaten the dog, okay?
Don't threaten the dog.
Nah,
100%.
It does appear that way, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It does. He just seems to work under pressure better. So, look, let's just see how he goes in Miami. But, anyway. Yeah. Hamilton is regretting his move to Ferrari, Damien. What do you say
I think there's a few dollar bills that says he's not regretting it. Plus he's designing a car. Plus he's an ambassador. Plus he still gets to say, I drove for Ferrari. Is he not where he wants to be? Agree, but no chance he's regretting it. Now, the flag or the concern is, if it remains like it is for the rest of his time at Ferrari, he will regret it. I think, but to be honest, what was he going to achieve at Mercedes?
About the same.
Probably.
He's not going to be. He wouldn't have been winning races, so either or, it's about the same.
Correct.
So it's We'll just.
I agree.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see how he goes. Hopefully, he improves.
So Norris needs. Oh, is it my turn? Hang on. No, yes, it is. Oh, jeez, I got so lost so quickly.
Rapid fire.
Norris needs to rewrite the script if he's to become a true championship contender.
I'd agree with that. I know I wrote it, but I agree with it.
Yep.
No, 100%. Like, he needs to get his head straight. We said this last week. We said the week before that. Ultimately, until he does that, he's not going to be able to vie for this championship. So not properly anyway. Yeah. We'll see moments where he does really, really well, but I don't. Sometimes I don't see him as a true championship contender, but I think he really does need to work on that mental side.
Yeah, I agree. He sort of he needs somebody, if he hasn't already, like what McLaughlin had here in Supercars, to just get him mentally right. And it's just such a big part of the world now that it's a lot of mental capacity that you need to get over. And it was clear when Norris gave his responses after the crash that he was withdrawn from the way that he was responding. He wanted to do the same thing he did the week before and Suki Lala type of attitude, but instead he just went, I crashed. What more can I, he just like really shut it down, tried to move on. So it's obviously having some sort of an impact, and he needs to get that part of himself right, where he can get to that switch on, switch off like Oscar. Yeah. So anyway, we will see. All right, now, do you want to? I didn't really pose it as a question, so I'm happy just to take it if you want me to.
No, I'll ask it.
Okay.
I'll ask it to you because I feel like this is Damo's time. Damo's spot. Here we are. All right. Are you all sitting down and are you ready? Michael Massey should return. Max redressing should have happened.
Right. Now,
Damo,
over to me.
Away with it.
Well, I just sort of feel like this was what Michael Massey did really well, despite the mistakes that he made. He did this really well, where he gave the teams the ultimatum. He would have said, if he was in charge, he would have got on the blower to Red Bull and said, you're going to get a bigger penalty if you don't redress. And it would have been done and dusted. Max would have either gone ahead and probably got more like a 10-second penalty. And that would have been what I feel justified in what he did. Because that's the way he used to run it. So it was a bit tongue-in-cheek and sensationalised, I know. But the actual issue that I think is there needs to be a change in the way they adjudicate the rule, because there needs to be this clause for Max, because he's figured out, and it's brilliant, I'm not having a go at him, I'm saying he's just working the system beautifully, that he knows in that situation, he was behind, but I'm on the outside, I can release the brake so that actually by the time we get to the corner, we are axle to axle, even though Oscar's actually beaten me to the corner. But it looks like in the trailing or the tail end of that I'm actually further up than I should be. He's then, if you look at the onboard, he's ploughing, like understeering like a dog. He's got the thing hook left and it's going straight. So he was never going to make it. He had too much speed. And they need to have a clause which actually says, if you're releasing the brake or if if you can't make the corner, I think there's some proviso, but they need to tighten it down and say to Max, we're not going to accept if you just either on the inside release the brake and push someone off, or on the outside just release the brake and just pretend like you got pushed off. It's ridiculous. I love what he's doing at the moment, but that part is the worst part of Max's driving. But he does it because he's allowed to do it. There you go.
Fiery words from Damo Skukovic. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
He has gone full in.
I have.
I can't really argue against it. I tend to agree. I'll also just put on the proviso there that as much as it pained me that Verstappen won that championship all those years ago over Hamilton, the way he did, that I personally don't think it was Massey's fault. I think he made a decision. He made a decision at the time that he thought was best for the category and for everyone. And that's just the way it unfolded. I think Massey being back in that position would fix a lot of the shit we've got going on right now with all these different things, because he is very good. There's a reason why I've forgotten his name all of a sudden. My mind's gone blank. What was the outgoing guy before Massey? White.
Oh, Charlie Whitehead. Charlie Whitehead.
Yeah, Charlie Whiting. Had him as the guy that would take over from him for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't think the sport is better for not having him now, as much as the Brits would argue strongly against that. Yep. But yes, I agree. There needs to be something done. I think if you're releasing the brake, and you can prove they're releasing the brake, you just look at the data.
Yeah.
And that's for anyone doing that. I think you probably should get a bigger penalty.
There you go. I agree. I do agree. I think that on the Massey stuff, I just think he did the best that he could. He was trying to do the right thing as he was. All the teams were clear. I just think that what he shouldn't have. It didn't matter what he did. If he didn't release the cars, everyone would say he was favouring Hamilton. If he did release those cars, then he's favouring Max, and it's just messy no matter what. And it's still, the proof is in the pudding that he was actually doing, at least trying to do the right thing, but was under too much stress, was the fact they replaced him with multiple people, changed the processes. So clearly they hung him out to dry. But anyway, this is not a massive thing, but
it's not.
it just felt like that's what would have happened under him. He just would have said, get him to redress or I'm giving you a big penalty. And that's what should have happened.
Yep. And that's it. And, you know, there's a lot of things that happened after that fact. So,
yes.
Yep. Totally agree, mate. And I think we should probably go to our comments and address Mabini.
I thought Oscar ran Max off. Well, I would love to see what you're looking at, because the way I saw it, that Oscar made the corner and he turned in, he was fine. The onboard of Max, he was basically understeering. He had more lock on. The tires were going, or the car was going straight, and then just had to basically bail out of it. So that's the way I see it. I know it's very, it's 50-50 depending on sort of how you sort of feel about the camp. But I would think that that was definitely Max.
I'll say this because there's a lot of photos and not just
Christian Horner
going on about it, but there's others that have taken snapshots of different spots throughout the corner. A photo is great. As a photographer, a photo is great, but it shows you a split second of time. It doesn't tell you the story. And unfortunately, when you go on board with Max, you actually, like, the initial brake is hard. And then he realizes that he's actually losing out. So he releases the brake, which allows him to draw alongside Piastri. And I 100% agree that Piastri probably cooked it a little bit into that corner to ensure that Max wouldn't be there. But he definitely didn't run him off the actual track. So
he didn't slide, he didn't do anything. So
he was completely and utterly in control. So that is the difference, right? Because you have to maintain control of the car. If he'd slid into the corner, different kettle of fish, and you know, we'd probably be looking at a penalty, or it would have just been play on. But yeah, there's definitely, Max has a real innate ability to release brake, and you know, he just knows how to play the rules. But this time, he got outfoxed.
He did.
Yes. Very good.
Right.
Very good.
Let's try and wrap this up with a bit of garage gossip.
Mate, there is shit going on everywhere.
Oh, there is. So we'll try and have a look at the onboards, because you might change your mind. Look, it's okay to think otherwise. Everyone's got an opinion. It's okay.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It doesn't mean what we're saying is 100% correct either. We're only going by what we're watching, just the same as everyone. So, but yeah, that's the general consensus from what I can gather anyway.
Yes. All right. Okay. And so we have a lot of talk about our friend Max that we were just talking about. Because
Red Bull.
Is he on the move? Is he staying at Red Bull? Aston's making play. Mercedes.
Alpine.
Oh, that's
sabbatical. No. There's a lot of talk actually. So he's not saying that he is, but he's also not saying he isn't. And there's a lot of rumors about Aston throwing near enough to 336 million at him. Is what I heard today, which is unbelievable amounts of money. Toto is not signing Russell because he thinks he has an opportunity to get Max.
That's the big one. That's the big one, I think, is that it just shows there might be just a bit more than rumour because, the flow-on
Let's not forget, didn't we see George at the McLaren stable earlier this year having a chat to Zach Brown and I think it was Andrea was there as well. So, there's something going on in the background, and obviously we'll find out in Netflix next year. I don't know. Smoke, there's fire a little bit.
Yep.
The one that's really interesting, sabbatical for a year.
Yeah, look, Karoon dropped that one a while ago, maybe last year or very early this year. He dropped this thing about, it's likely he could even just take a sabbatical just to take a break. And I thought that was, like, that's a very random thing to suddenly drop from an F1 driver. It's rarely happened. And I say rarely because I don't think it's ever happened other than like people have been dropped, but no one's taken sabbatical apart from Kimi Räikkönen, right? He was the only one who said, I'm out, I'm done, and then came back. So, yeah, it is very, very interesting, and it's all sort of tied together because, the Russell stuff is really making it have more steam than it should. I really don't think there's anything in the McLaren thing, but it was just interesting to see it happen. I'm sure it was a bit of a, hey, can I have a chat just to try and stir the boat back at Mercedes for a bit more cash or to speed up a contract signing? I don't know, but and then what does Red Bull do? Right? Yeah, if he jumps, who's going to take that spot?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it could be
Lawson.
Simple. Like if you went to to like Merck, then you could say Russell could do a direct swap. But the other thing is that they could make a play for Norris. Norris is out of contract. And if Piastri is getting the upper hand, as some of us are predicting, he might not want to stay.
Yeah.
As much as he loves the team and everything else, he might not want to stay. He might do a Danny Rick and jump ship and go to Red Bull. But it's an interesting one. And then it's like, okay, so what's Russell do if Verstappen goes to Merck? There's a tie-up apparently with the potential of Alpine. Which I'm sure he wouldn't be happy about.
I don't think you'd leave. You wouldn't leave to go to Alpine. No.
If he gets booted, he hasn't got a choice, does he?
Well, that's true if he does, but
it's a really, it could be interesting. Mabini says, don't forget about Cadillac. I mean, that's the other thing. There's Cadillac coming in.
2 other drivers to add. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So suddenly, we've got places for these guys to go. Now, Cadillac's not going to be a short-term win, but it is another option. So there is a lot happening in this little area, and I'm sure it's going to change daily, weekly, and monthly as we get to mid-season and beyond. But yeah, I'm fascinated to see how this plays. If Verstappen, because the race reported that Verstappen could take a sabbatical and go and do Le Mans.
Yep.
If that is the case, my God.
Yeah. It's going to be turmoil. And you think about, it's pretty early in the season to start some of this stuff to be happening. So it definitely feels like that potentially there is something happening. But, I guess we'll wait and see. I'm going to switch to you, Mr. Stephen, as a solo, because you're going to talk about this while I change my battery.
Oh, yeah, you go do that. Righto. So, Oscar Piastri is only 3 wins away from equaling Daniel Ricciardo's amount of wins, and he's 4 away from Mark Webber. That's impressive. I mean, I know they didn't win much. They won 8 and 9 races respectively between the two, not between 2 of them, but each. But the fact Oscar has nailed 5 already, plus his 2 sprint wins on top of that, I just think is remarkable.
Yeah.
And it has me asking the question of how far can he go? Is it, are we seeing the dawn of somebody who can make a run of it over many years? Are we going to see him just have a winning year this year? I don't know. There's a lot of things changing next year, but I just thought it was such a cool little stat. See you, Mabini. Thanks for tuning in. I think it's such a cool little stat that he's almost equaling them already. And I would say that he'll go past them at the end of the year.
Oh, definitely. I can't believe it's come so fast. It's literally, that's the soundbite for you. But because you always felt like Ricciardo and Webber had pretty good careers, and
Yeah.
and like he's already matching. He's up with Lando, despite being a couple of seasons, more
Behind.
junior. And
Yep.
to think that he's 3 away from Ricardo, and then another one on top of that, and then he becomes a Webber, and then you've got to go back to. And I wouldn't even, based on the number of races they used to do, he's probably going to be, he's probably going to jump Alan Jones for race wins.
Jones.
It'd be good to check. He's probably not going to beat some of our really, like the Brabhams and that, who had success over multiple years, but they were only doing 12 rounds or 10 rounds back then. So, he could, as you say, very likely become just our best F1 driver ever. I just hope he can secure that championship to really cement it.
Alan Jones had 12 race wins.
There you go.
Grand Prix race wins across 10 seasons. Let's have a look. Jack Brabham. You see, this one, they were only racing
Yeah, they were doing so few races. And... Oh, hang on. I think I've lost you, mate.
Are you there?
Oh.
Can you hear me?
I got you now. You're back.
Got it? All right.
Good work.
Right, so...
Good day, Justin.
Jack Brabham won 14 Grand Prix across 16 seasons, so he is still the leading Australian for wins.
Yeah, wow.
So I think, in my personal opinion, Oscar will eclipse that.
Yeah.
Just because, sheer number of races that he'll get to do over his years, but to even, in his third season, be at 5.
It's crazy, eh?
It's crazy. Cool. It's cool. So let's go.
Yes. Well.
Oh, Juggernaut is on.
I know he is, and he loves the sport too. But yeah, the times are We've just had all our best time slots where we had Melbourne and Japan and stuff, and now we go to real tough ones. Although South America timing and North America timing, Miami.
Yep.
The worst.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
Yeah. And speaking
right when I'm going to work.
Speaking of Miami, that is the next one, but we're still a couple of weeks away from it. So we kind of had a quick chat about this, but I kind of feel like you're warming to a hat trick. Oscar Piastri hat trick.
I'm hoping for a hat trick. I mean, wouldn't you hope for a hat trick? I mean, I know you're a little fanboy Norris boy over there. Norris is going to come back at him in Miami.
I just, I've been wrong, and maybe I can put the kibosh on him, but I sort of feel like that confidence that he seems to be lacking when he goes back to a place where he's won a race, no matter how it happened, I think that might just get him over the line. But look, we'll wait and see, because it's one crash away from his year becoming a pretty terrible one, and Oscar taking a win just to dominate totally. Because
I'll say this: if Oscar wins in Miami, you can probably kiss any chance of Norris getting in touch with him goodbye. I think it'll destroy him mentally. It's far too weak at the moment mentally. No offense, Norris, and Norris fans, don't get me wrong. I think he's got tons of talent.
Yeah.
And I actually do like the guy as much as I muck around and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really does need to work on that mental game and mental side to really make a challenge. So it's going to be an interesting one, Damo.
Oh, we're looking forward to it. But as we say, we've got time before that one, which is the first time, because it has been non-stop, because it's either been V8s or F1 every week.
Yep.
So it'll be nice, we can put together a bit more of a casual chat where we can drop some other massive ideas, like bringing back Michael Massey, yeah?
yeah, that's it, exactly. Bring back Michael Massey. Yeah, no, look, we can sit down and not debrief, preview the Miami one next week. And I'll be gearing up at that point to head to the Bend as well for my own race, mate.
I know, good luck, but yeah, we've got time before then.
And we're driving the Pankmobile.
The Pankmobile,
as they call it. It's Dan Smith's title state championship car, and it's got a shit engine in it, so I'm already getting my driver excuse book out.
Gee, it didn't take long. As I say,
Nah.
you'll do better than last time as long as you keep do the lug nuts up, mate. Make sure all the wheels are on. You'll be fine. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Keep all four wheels on the ground or attached to the car at all times. Thank you.
Yes.
Very good, mate. Well, you have
All right.
yourself a great weekend off, my friend, and
Will do.
and to everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Justin, you need to tune in
Thank you.
earlier.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in. And
Thanks, my
I guess
beanie,
we'll see you.
and Jeff as well. Thank you, and we'll
Yes,
see you
Beanie, Jeff.
next
week.
time.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.